You guys smart enough for trigonometry?
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back, ESPN 97.7 Region Rush. We're here with a back-to-back state champ, Crimson Cliffs Mustangs. We're going to go through the championship game, the most historic comeback in the history of Utah State Championship football. We got Coach Wayne Olofopo, Coach Andy Stokes, and a bunch of players. Let's start with you, Coach Wayne. Let's go before the game. What were you guys anticipating with Spanish Fork? What was it going to take to beat these guys? Very good. They, held down Ridgeline and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I told it to the radio stations and TV stations and even to Andy before the game, and he thought I was joking, but I was pretty dead serious. These guys are high-powered offense, got some playmakers, great quarterback, 2 great playmakers, big O-line, average 43 points a game. I told Andy before the game, I said, this is going to be the first championship you've ever been a part that offense is going to win a championship. Because, you always hear the phrase defense wins championships. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, the defense came up with some big stops and plays and throughout the game. But offense was dialed in, and we knew we needed to outscore these guys, and we outscored them just enough to get there. So
amazing.
Super proud of them.
Coach Stokes, what's your perspective on that, your kind of anticipation for playing Spanish Fork?
I think we went in, we knew we had to run the ball well. We knew they were going to do some different things to try to take away some of our guys, and they did a good job in the first half of limiting us in the directions we wanted to go. But kids got to figure it out. Second half, fourth quarter, really, right? And kids started making plays. And at the end of the day, man, kids win games. Yeah, and they did.
Yeah, it was amazing. Some of us almost went to bed. I won't say who back there, me or whatever. But we're just going to go through the game, play by play, the highlights. There's about 20 of them, and we're going to start with McCord with the mic. You scored the first touchdown. We'll throw that play up so McCord can remind himself of what happened here, and just describe this play and your excitement for scoring the first touchdown of the game, McCord.
Yeah, I think we came off. I think we turned it over twice, maybe. I can't remember exactly. And then Jay Holt had a nice key screen and got us all the way down to the 1, so I just had to punch it in. And the O-line did a good job blocking and got in the end zone.
What do you remember about that drive, Coach Stokes, that first drive?
We throw those screens out there, and these kids, man, we ask the kids when they come into the program, if you're going to play a skill spot, you got to block. You got to block before you get the ball. And they did a phenomenal job, man. They set Jay Holt up. We told Jay Holt before the game this is going to be a Jay Holt day, and he popped off. So he got us down there. We got on the ball as quick as we could. I think we had to run that twice, didn't we?
No. What are you talking about?
I think we hit that twice, but the O-line stepped up. They as you can see on the screen there, they put a huge crease in there, and McCord was able to walk in. So.
Okay, now let's go to the next one. This is Spanish Fork, I think, scoring. We'll show some of their highlights too. We've got to build the tension here. What do you remember about that? Their first drive, seeing that, or I guess their first scoring drive, Coach Wayne.
Yeah.
And just kind of playing their offense for the first time.
Our boys actually did a really good job. I mean, I think we actually held them, 7 straight downs, and then they finally got it in on the 7th try. I mean, they got that first, but it took them 7 downs to get, 13 yards, and so our boys did a really, really good job. They just, again, we knew we were undersized compared to them, but it was a great run by them, and Vest had 5 touchdowns, but I think 3 or 4 of them came off the 1 or 2 yard line. So
yeah, close stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go to McKay. What's your perspective on the defensive end? Just kind of those first couple series. How big were they? How bad were they getting at you guys that second level and getting hats on you and stuff like that?
Yeah, they had a great O-line. They're very physical, and they had a great game plan going in. They were just kind of gonna run it down our throats. They knew that they had the size advantage on us. Luckily, Wayne was able to put us in the right fronts and formations to make some plays, and we were able to slow them down a little bit. We weren't able to stop them on those short plays, but we were able to slow them down for sure, and so it was good.
Awesome. All right, let's go to the next play. Don't remember what this one's going to be. Oh, this is going to be another. So they go up 14-7. And what was your view, Wayne, on their passing? We knew about Vest, but their quarterback made some good throws.
Quarterbacks, he's the head coach's son, Desmond Smith, who runs QB Elite. So he's going to be a really, really good quarterback. He was all year. I kind of blame myself in that situation. I was checking, actually. I knew that was the play they were going to, actually, and I was yelling cover 4. in that situation. But it was so loud in there; it's deafening for some of the kids. We had communication issues for a while. But if you wind that back later on, you'll see me on the sideline yelling a check coverage to 4 because we knew they were going to take a shot, and it was just I should have called it earlier enough to give the kids a better opportunity to succeed. So great play by them, bad job by me, but just proud of the boys to continue to compete.
Wow, look at that! Just taking accountability over a play that was an amazing fake screen, and then they just throw it to the top.
Yeah,
I don't know how you defend that. All right, let's go to the next play. Uh-oh. This is Maddox, right? Mm-hmm. Maddox, take that mic, man. That speed, the announcers were just, you couldn't hear it in real time, but I was watching on KSL. They were just going crazy about how fleet of foot you were. Tell me about that play, why it worked, and then I'll get Coach Stokes' perspective on it.
Yeah, I remember before the play, right after you called it, Coach Stokes just said if the flat's there, we're taking it. And I got the ball to turn the field, and I just see Jackson Holt and Boston Barrow just both destroy their guys on that block, and I just went right up the middle, and yeah, I was gone. And
once again, Coach, receivers blocking for you, right?
Yeah, we knew we could get that play with how they were set up against us. I yelled at Jay Holt while he's out on the field. They had their best player at safety on that side. I said, hey, you gotta handle that kid. We gotta have our hat on the right side. And he did it. And then Maddox, man, I think Maddox was running about a 10-6 right there. He was smoking.
That was amazing. Yeah, that number 11 was a killer on their team, right?
Jacobson kid.
Jacobson, yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the next one. What do we got here? 14-14 at this point. They just, running up the middle, another super short touchdown. I don't remember anything about that drive.
Yeah, it was only 18 seconds left in the half. They threw a bomb and got it down and caught it almost on the pylon there with 10 seconds left on the clock. And we actually had a misalignment issue right there. We didn't get lined up quick enough. They caught us with a quick tempo play, and we were able to get in right before the half. So unfortunately, we had a big play happen right before half. But it sounds like we were in good graces because every championship game was 21-14 this week, and the 14 teams all won. So
really?
It all worked out the right way.
Wow!
I guess. So,
wow!
Yeah, all 3 games were 21-14 at half. The Roy Bountiful, the Lone Peak, Corner Canyon, and then our game were all 21-14. And the team that was 14 ended up winning every game. So kind of an interesting stat.
That is interesting. And what else is interesting is Nolan Perry's power guy, which I make fun of all the time, was right. And he had you guys as a 2-point favorite, I think.
Yeah.
And then you won by 2.
Yeah. About time he comes on our side.
All right, let's go to the next play. What do we got? Let me have some of these linemen talk. What's this? Is that them or you? Oh, there's the vest.
Them.
Okay, another touchdown. Is that early third quarter?
Yep.
All right, next play. Who cares?
Thank you.
All right, so they score again. This is good because this is like Rocky. Drago's throwing some punches. He's hitting some haymakers, but we all know what happens at the end. So they score again, and now it's what's the score right now?
35-14.
35-14.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
35-14. This is when it starts to just get a little interesting.
Now we know they go to the kids in the student section. I don't know if you guys have seen that clip, and they don't stop believing. Who are those kids, by the way? Who has a mic?
Yeah, Porter Nyson.
We love those kids. What are you guys thinking at this point? Let's go to Max. What are you thinking? It's 35-14.
I'll be honest. There's I can't say there was no doubt, but at the same time, I was just telling our guys hey, there's still time on the clock. We made it this far. We're not gonna give up until the game's over. And so I was just trying to get on everyone hey, let's keep going. Let's keep fighting because we're here for a reason.
And then let's go down here. Let's go to Easton. What were you thinking, watching this as it's all going down?
Yeah, you just can't stop believing in your guys. And I was just trying to pick people up on the sideline as much as I could. It's not being out there.
All right, very good. Cuff, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think for sure that go off what Max said is that, yeah, there's a lot of doubt. But I think, personally, we started to realize that we should just play ball, have fun, And I think that's when we started to come back. And when we started having fun, it just became a good game. And then we were like, oh, we got a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
All right, awesome. Let's go to the next highlight here. Oh, this is just McCord doing a swing and then weaves through about 7 guys. McCord, tell us about it, and then Coach Stokes, I'll go to you for the play call.
Yeah, it was just 4th down, and I was thinking we got to get this.
Oh, that was a 4th down too?
I just got to get this first down. He's going to hit me quick in the flats and just got to do a little shimmy shake. And then I don't know what they were doing. We knew that play was going to work, and I think it was our first time running it. And, yeah, it just happened to make a guy miss and get in the end zone.
Yeah, we had that in our pocket the whole game because we planned on them running that coverage against us, and they didn't. In the first half, they never ran that against us.
And what was the cover? What was the coverage? Or?
It was cover 1.
Yeah.
We knew we could get Cord. We liked our matchup with him on the middle backer.
Okay.
So I think we double counted that, see what coverage they were in, saw what we liked, and then again, you can prepare the kids all week. That's your job as a coach, but kids win games. And Cord not only made the catch got us the first down, but finished it for us. So.
All right, next highlight. Oh, and then they score again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody's all excited. Oh, here we go. And then they have this long touchdown run. That was Vest's probably longest of the game, right?
Yeah, that was his longest run.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So now it's 42-21, and now the game's for sure over, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next.
This is when you turned it off, right?
Right. Oh, and then this is a cool play. This is McCord throwing it to Boston.
Yep, Boston Barrels. Yep.
Wow. Okay. Man, we talked a lot to McCord. Let's talk to you again, Coach Stokes, and then maybe we'll talk to a lineman.
Well, I think we had that play in the books for probably 4 or 5 weeks. Promised McCord we're going to run it this week. And it came up, I think, I yelled at Cord from the sideline, did we have to come out of a timeout right there? They called a timeout right there, gave us a break, and I said, hey, you want to run it? You want to run it right now? I knew that they would jump him if we gave him the ball, so he did a phenomenal. He's been practicing throwing the ball for the last 8 weeks. He finally got that completion.
That was great.
So,
what down was that? Do you remember?
Second
down.
It was early in the
Awesome.
sequence.
Yeah, remember he ran for a touchdown, threw for a touchdown, and caught a touchdown.
Yes.
So pretty impressive.
Amazing.
Got a perfect quarterback rating too.
Yeah. Holy cow. All right, next highlight. Oh boy. Okay, so that's when they had a Wildcat kid in at a motion and it hits them. This was right after you guys almost got the onside too, right?
It was after we got the onside.
Yeah, right.
But
That's what I'm saying.
somehow didn't get the onside.
Right. I was being diplomatic, or whatever that word is. Okay, so you don't get the call on the onside. Well, let's talk about the onside.
Yeah.
What did you guys see? Who's the kid that got it, et cetera? Like, tell me about how that all went down, because it was executed pretty well.
Yeah. The first one, the ref's right. We didn't get it. We touched it on the 9.5-yard line, 100%. But that one right there, I can see why he would have thought it touched the player because it took a funky bounce. But a lot of us had a different perspective, and it didn't look at all like it touched the player, and it kind of got through, and it went to the 13-yard line, 13 yards, and we recovered it this time. And so, unfortunate deal. Again, you can only control what you can control. And at that moment, we just decided to just continue to buckle up and next play and try and get another stop so that we can continue the momentum. And then the snap fumble happened, right, 2 plays later. And so it's one of those things that we talked about, last night at the senior dinner with these young men is, these young men are winners. These guys know how to win. And so when the going got tough in these moments, Spanish Fork, hats off to them, had a great season, but yeah, even talking with their coach, they had a 3-8 season last year and tough season before. And so our young men have been in pressure situations a lot, and on the field and off the field, in our weight room with Coach Stokes. And in the last 4 years, they've been to 3 state championships and a semifinal this senior class. And so they know what winning takes, and winning breeds winning. And in pressure moments, they continue to just believe and fight. And so those type of moments happen. And you saw in that moment a play that they've ran 1,000 times throughout the year.
Yeah.
The moment may have gotten a little big.
Yeah.
So kudos for us.
That was amazing, especially that it happened right after the devastation of not getting the call on the onside kick. Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next highlight here. Here we go. Bombs away. That's a pretty throw and catch. That's Ryder hitting Jackson Holt. Let's go to Jackson first. What do you remember about that play call when it came in the huddle? What did you just take us through that?
Yeah, so it was cover one. Stokes gave me a play because we liked the matchup. I gave the kid a weave. He jumped inside, and I just went on my corner.
Nice.
And made a play and scored. And Ryder threw a teardrop right into my hands.
That was pretty. All right, let's go to Ryder, who we haven't talked to yet somehow. What do you remember about that play, Ryder?
Yeah, just like Coach Stokes said, we knew that they'd have that cover one, so we put in that play just for that situation, and pretty much just man on man. So I knew Jackson was going to beat him, just took my drop and put it up, let him do the rest.
Excellent. All right, next play. 42-35. Okay, this is the last regulation drive.
Mm-hmm.
And we cut out some stuff, but that was a third. Was that a third down when McCord lays out there?
3rd and 3.
Third and 3. Yeah. McCord doing it all, buddy. Tell me about making that catch.
Yeah, just another matchup with the middle linebacker. I mean, he was a good player, but not the most athletic guy. So just had to beat him, and then I just dove for the ball. And not gonna lie, that really knocked the air out of me.
Oh, really?
I went out for a couple of plays, but yeah, it was a good catch and good throw.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Next play. I think a lot of Malachi from this point on. 4th and 3 that time. Slant to Malachi. Tell us about that play.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, it was a little stressful, 4th down. I mean, game's on the line.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everyone's making big plays, and I just couldn't let my team down. I just gave them everything I had this last drive.
And then Coach Stokes, you remember that play call, and did you know it was money from the beginning?
That's one of our favorite plays. We usually reserve it to score touchdowns with.
Yeah.
I haven't run that in the field before, but I knew that, hey, we need to get Malachi the ball here, and the best way to get him the ball based on what they were giving us was to run that play. So we're lucky that the interior guy chased 3 and then left a big hole up the middle, and Ryder put it on the spot. Malachi finished the job.
Awesome. Let's show that one more time if we can, James. I want to see that kind of the. Okay, yeah. All right, that was just for my benefit. We'll cut that out.
Yeah, we that came out of our last time out, and Ryder said, "You want me to spike it right after we get the first?" I said, "No, just throw a fade to Mal as fast as possible." I've just been talking earlier that week about coaches spiking the ball. Like, if you can get to the ball and take a snap, you might as well throw a ball.
Yeah.
And those guys, man, that was an unbelievable throw and an unbelievable catch.
Yeah.
Big time moment.
Yeah.
Talk about the next play.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you get the first down, and you got to trust Ryder. You got to trust your guys to get up to their spot so they're ready for the play. And this is what happens next. What he's talking about here. Throws it up to Malachi, and he lays out. Makes an unbelievable catch. Let's see, what is there, 10 seconds? Something like that on the clock.
What a pretty bad spot, by the way.
Not a great spot?
Would they put us on the 12?
Yeah, they did.
Malachi, tell me about that one.
I mean, Coach Stokes said it before. I mean, he said right as we get this first down, we're just going to go throw a fade to you. So, I mean, I was expecting it. I mean, I just had to go out and make a play. I mean, Ryder threw the perfect ball, so I just laid out for it, and I came down with it. So it was an amazing play.
All right, let's go to Ryder. Before I talk to Ryder, so we know coming into this game, we know it's McCord, you know, all your stars, Malachi, McKay. Your last state championship, you had Steele, MVP 2 years in a row and all this stuff. How about Ryder Sherritt walking into Rice Eccles, throwing for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns in a state championship game? All right, Ryder, tell us about that throw, and then we'll have coaches gush about you after that.
Yeah, like they said, we just try to get on the ball as quick as possible and just send a shot down the sideline. I just had to get it out early enough. You can't overthrow Malachi. He's too fast. So I just put it up in the air and hoped he'd get over top and get underneath it. So,
what were your nerves like this game?
It was.
They're probably gone by this point, but maybe at the beginning, what were your nerves like?
Yeah, I was a little nervous at the beginning of the game. You know, just biggest game I'd ever played in. So it was different for me. But yeah, at this point, we were going fast enough that I didn't really have time to think about being nervous. We just gotta get into the next play and get it done.
You know what he reminded me of? This might be a little bit hyperbole, but it was like Patriots Falcons when Brady just got in that zone and just had to be perfect. And that's what that drive reminded me of from Ryder. He was just cooking. All right, let's go. Or actually, tell me about Sherritt's performance, Coach.
Yeah, as you mentioned, filling the shoes of Steele Barbin at Crimson was a big task for Ryder. But honestly, playing quarterback at Crimson's a big task. The one thing you'll learn really fast about Andy Stokes is that he doesn't care who you are. He will hold everyone to the same accountability level. And he, will take young men if they believe and trust the process, and we'll find your strengths, we'll find your weaknesses, and we'll maximize where we can. And that's something that Andy does really, really well. And Ryder has just answered the call all year. And in the biggest moment, I think it says a lot about who Ryder is, the way he was raised, his parents, his home, and his character of the type of man he is. And just grateful for Ryder, so happy for him to have that opportunity first and foremost, but then to step up in that moment and essentially leave his mark upon the program and his family name. So super proud of him.
Coach Stokes.
I echo that. I think that people will never understand what it takes for a quarterback to win a state championship, any championship on any level. Unless you played that position, you just don't understand what it's going to take. Yeah. And down 21 and 5 minutes left in the game, I mean, we weren't going to run the ball. I think everybody knew that. And Ryder came through, man. I mean, there was times where they dropped into perfect coverages and took stuff away, and we threw some incompletions, but he just kept coming back and throwing great balls, getting us down the field and getting the ball to the guys that needed it. So, I mean, credit to him. I think every week from week 1 to week, what was that, 14, he got better. And that's what you ask any kid that comes into your program. Hey, next week we just want to be better than we were this week. And Ryder exemplifies that.
Yeah, he was awesome. All right, here's another awesome throw, I think. Cap off this drive. Zing, right to the pylon. Boom. Anybody want to say anything about that? Malachi, tell me about that route.
I mean, this is just countless hours of practice and 7-on-7s and just everything. I mean, that was the perfect throw. I mean, he put it in the perfect place just so it would have gotten intercepted. But, I mean, yeah, I just had to go make a play, run out that perfect depth, and Ryder just got the ball to me. But, I mean, the game wasn't too stressful because, like, we've had close games like Stansbury and stuff that's, like, prepared us. So, like, we were ready for that moment, and we just went out and executed it perfectly.
That was awesome. Anything on that play, Coach Stokes?
It's just like Mal said. I was telling the kids last night, that's hours and hours of that same exact route from that same exact location. And kids, they get bored of it, but we do it every week. And pays off. One time in the season, it shows up, and Ryder hits it exactly how we want him to, and Mal pushes the depth exactly how we ask him to, and it ends up perfect. So kids just making plays.
Okay, so then we go into overtime, but before we do, let's shout out your kicker. Who? Can you imagine having the state championship on the line? You got to make this PAT. Well, first of all of them, but this one to go into, or the game's over and you just lost the state title, and then all the ones in overtime. Calder Pace was awesome.
Dude, he was. We couldn't be more proud of Calder. That kid's usually he doesn't show much emotion. He's pretty stonewall that way. Funny enough, at our senior thing last night, he has finally admitted he was nervous, and which obviously you're going to be. You watched Lehigh lose a game to Corner Canyon on a PAT in overtime, and so I think that definitely was in the back of his mind, but it just speaks volumes to Ryder, to that whole. I mean, so many things can go wrong on that PAT, right? And so credit to that whole team, but Calder as well, for just being ice in his veins in those moments, man, because even the one in overtime and all the kicks, I mean, every single kick, I'm not going to lie, half the coaches told me they didn't even watch it. And I did. I wanted to watch every single one of them, and I just stared it down, and it was fun to see a young man like Calder just excel in that moment.
Yeah, clutch over and over again. All right, let's go to OT. Spanish Fark scores first. You can go to the next one. And then we go to Maddox again, right? Touch pass? Bingo, Maddox. Ties things up. What's up? How'd that go down?
Yeah, I mean, our offense was rolling the whole last of the fourth quarter, and it just didn't stop in overtime. I mean, another good block from the Whitehouse on that side, and then just right up the lane.
Let's go to Tayson over here. I haven't talked to you yet. What was it like in the trenches against these big boys from Spanish Fork for you? And then you're in overtime.
Yeah.
Everybody's exhausted.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, during like the first half of the game, to kind of mid-third quarter, we were struggling the whole time. Our run blocking wasn't very good. Our pass was pretty decent, but then we got to the fourth and overtime, and like all line just came together. Our pass blocking was insane the whole fourth quarter and overtime. And then just on that last run outside zone, we just came through and just had a block. We had to do it, and yeah, we just had to get that touchdown.
Awesome. We'll get more from him later on because we got a couple more great plays. Let's go to the next one here. That's a pretty play in overtime. Receiver just comes that wide open. Coach Stokes, what was the call there, and why did it work so well?
Well, it worked well because Jackson did exactly what he was supposed to do. That stand was beautiful. Where's Jackson?
Right here.
Slap hands, Jackson. There we go. Again, I think we double counted that. We found where the weak spot was. They had 11 on Mal. And we knew we've been working those corner routes down the red zone with Jackson and Maddox all year. And he had the matchup we wanted. They had their receiver playing defense, covering him. And so we tried to take advantage of that. And he ran a beautiful route. So
Looked like Jackson Smith and Jigba in the Rose Bowl on that one with Bernard guarding him.
Beautiful route, beautiful ball. Again, that's a hard ball to throw. When you're that close, throwing a pylon corner, it takes a lot of touch. It's not an easy ball. So it's a great ball. Right her through. Great route. Again, going back to, man, like coaches are here to prepare kids. Kids win games. And coaches, we either prepare you or we lose games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Jackson, when you hear that call, how confident are you that it's going to come open and it's going to work, and go inside your mind for us?
Well, when I get that call, it's just like, I don't know, I've been working all off season on my stems, on my routes, on my breaks, all that, and it's all coming together, and now I get to perform, and that weave step always works, so I'm glad that coach taught me.
Awesome. I don't even know what a weave step is, but it sounds awesome. Let's go to Ryder. Is this your last touchdown throw of the game, maybe?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get your take on it.
Yeah, just like these guys were saying, we've been working on that. Me and Jackson got together all off season. We're throwing that route. Pretty much the same look that we had earlier in the game to start the comeback. Just Jackson does his thing, gets open. I just got to put it in the right spot, right timing, let him get underneath it.
Yeah, that was pretty. All right, I'll edit this out later. Did you go against the big guy at all? No. You were on the other side? Yeah. Okay. I'll ask you another question then after this. All right, boom. All right, let's go to the next highlight here. All right, they're going to sprint out right and find somebody in the corner to tie things up at 55, and then they got to go for two. Oh, boy, we know what's coming next. All right, so they score. Let's go to the next play. Let's give the mic to the man over there and see what we got here. Speed option left. How does he erase that angle? It's unbelievable. All right, let's start with Coach Wayne. I was watching it. I'm dumb. And I was like, nobody's getting to that kid before he gets to the pylon. This kid's a 5,000-yard career guy at Spanish Fork, vest, and he's got a superhero chasing after him, though. So tell me about your view of that play, Coach.
Yeah, before that play, actually, they lined up and wanted to see what we were in. So we were in a forefront, and they called the timeout.
Oh.
And so when they came back in the timeout, we figured we put Malachi in the guard, their best receiver, number 11, and figured we could erase him. So at that point, we knew that they were probably going to go to number 5. I mean, it was like a 95%, right? And so we said, well, if we erase number 11, it's got to go to him. And so we went to a different front and added in another guy into the box. And so they probably thought they had something that wasn't there, and we ended up lining up in a 50 front. And then what was nice about that is it helped blank out their their 5 linemen, which in that situation, we blitzed Max to plug up the inside gap, and we decided to let McKay be a free flower. And in that moment, I think a couple things that were really, really cool about that play, and I think the backstory is important, is Kaysen actually went out, and he wasn't going to play this game because he has a herniated disc. He decided to go through it. You know, when the game kind of got out of hand in the fourth quarter, it was 42-21. He got hurt pretty bad and decided he was just going to call it a night because he didn't know how bad it was going to be. And McKay went to him in the overtime, right when overtime was starting, and said, "I know you're hurt, but we have to have you."
Oh, no kidding.
And so so Cuff wrapped it up and said, "All right," and played the overtimes with us. And in that play, what's pretty interesting, you'll see Cuff actually takes on a double, and the guy that tries to climb to McKay, Cuff actually grabs him so that he can't climb to McKay. So you'll see number 52 tries to do an arc block release up to McKay. Cuff grabs him, and it allows McKay to just be who McKay is, and that's a heat-sinking missile.
Yeah.
Right? McKay will find the ball. He's got a natural knack for it and nose for the ball, and you watch McKay go do what McKay does, and that's just destroy. And that sideline speed, I think opened up not just a lot of people's eyes on that field, but we're sure hoping it opened up a lot of college coaches' eyes to say McKay's the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to Kaysen. I didn't know that story. Tell me about that story from your view.
Yeah, so I was hurting pretty bad. I came walking out, and my brother came down, and I promised my dad before the game, if I'm hurting really bad, he wants me to step out because he wants my back's more important.
Sure.
So my brother came down, and he's like, "You look like you're pretty hurt. You should really step out." And obviously I was pretty mad, but I kept that promise, and I wanted to. And at that point, I mean, the game, we were down 21 points when I stepped out. So I'm like, oh, man. And then we came back, and I'm like, whoa. And so as I was watching, I was like, I already had the thought, like, oh, I really want to go back in. And then McKay came over, and I was like, let's do it. I want to get back out. I want to help this team again. So.
Awesome. That's so cool. I didn't know that. All right, let's go to we got to talk to McKay about that play. So save the game. That was it. He was this far away from hitting that pylon. What do you remember?
Yeah, that was one of those plays that kind of, it's like slow motion, like the whole thing. Before the play started, he was lined up a little outside. I knew I had a feeling he was either going on a little arrow route or there was something going on outside. And so I was cheating there just a little bit, and I saw that they were running that speed option, and Bryce, he was able to make him pitch it, and I knew my job was to get the running back. So I was able to, I don't know where all that, that where that speed came from, because frankly, like, I don't know, but it was just a great play, and I'm happy I was able to make it.
Yeah, it was amazing. Okay, I think we got a couple more amazing plays to look at here. What's the next one? Okay, so the announcers killed them for even trying this play, Wayne. I was like, they got this superstar running back. They got this kid going to USC. I don't kill him for it, but it was not executed very well, partially because 3 Mustangs were on the running back before he even got the ball.
Yeah, you know what? You can't kill him for it. It was a play that worked pretty well for them throughout the game. It was that GT pull. It worked from in between, the 25s, but inside the box, obviously, we're going to go to a more run-heavy team. Again, same school thought here, right? Like, we decided to put Malachi in again at defense, erase number 11, and say, hey, we can live with that. And so now we just got to live with number 5. And so went into a heavy package, wanted to make sure that he didn't get outside. And we knew they were going to go to the playmakers. I mean, that's what you do. Yeah. And so 5 was the last remaining playmaker. Our young men all collapsed. You can see our DNs did a phenomenal job of just skiing down the line with their GT pulls. And we just collapsed that whole inside. And we knew 5 was going to get the ball. And these young men just went and made a play in a big-time moment.
Let's go to Max. What was your excitement when you realized, oh, boy, we just got that stop. Now all we need is a 2-point conversion and we're champs?
Yeah, I was stoked. Our defense did a great job on that last play. Everyone did their job. Like Coach Wayne said, we were in a heavy, and a few of us blitzed, and we just everyone got there and made the play, and I was stoked because I knew our offense was gonna get the job done. So
Awesome. All right, last play. It's going to be a walk-off. Let's give the mic to McCord here. And starts inside, cuts it outside. Great block, it looks like there, from a bunch of different guys. Is that Tayson?
Yeah.
Bingo. All right, let's start with you, McCord, then we'll go to Tayson.
Yeah, I mean, everyone gives me a lot of credit for that run, but it would definitely not be possible without Tayson. He had a great block. Earlier in practice that week, Stokes told me that to look for that bounce outside on inside zone because they tend to do that. D lineman tends to do that, and so the moment came and I just bounced outside and got in the end zone, and it was just unreal.
How about, before we go to Tayson, how about McCord's, well, his career is historic, obviously, but just his Rice Eccles career over the last couple of years, right? Just what he did game after game, 245 yards, what he had in the semifinal. Incredible what he did in the playoffs, right? And all season, obviously.
Well, he's undefeated at Rice Eccles, so.
Yeah.
You know, special player, man. And those kind of players, we got a lot of those right here, but they don't come around very often. So when they're here, you relish the moment, and you're grateful for what they're bringing to the table, and it's just a joy, man. It's a joy to watch kids like him play football.
And the trust that just give it to your guy. Trust your linemen; they're going to do it.
Yeah, they went. They got a penalty right there.
Yeah, when they came out of the huddle.
Oh, right.
They called a timeout, and I saw it immediately. I actually ran to Andy. I said, "Hey, I think they got 12 or 13 guys." And he goes, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'm positive, bro." I'm like, "That's way more than 11 guys." And he was like, "Count." And I counted. I'm like, "Yeah, it's 12." And so he's like, "Tell the ref." So you'll see on the film, if you watch the ref, he's standing, and then all of a sudden the ref takes 2 steps on the field because now he's starting to count. And he's going through it, and then finally the back judge triggered and started counting. And right before we snapped the ball, you see Ryder's about to go snap it. They throw it, and that helped us go from the 3-yard line to the 1.5 and make that just a little bit more doable for us. So, again, in pressure cooker moments, right, in those type moments, winners win. And these young men, they didn't fold, and they decided to continue to compete, and they be opportunistic in those moments.
Yeah, didn't flinch in the biggest moments. Go to Tayson on that block.
Yeah, all week, Coach Isaac and Coach Mesa, they were teaching us on that play exactly. Just get the outside shoulder. So you can get that outside shoulder sealed off, then McCord can just work his magic and do whatever. So, like, end shot in, and I just kind of just try to drive him into the hole. Everyone else in there tried to jam him up, and then McCord just came right out on the outside of me, so it was good.
What was the bedlam like after the game? Who wants to talk about that? That was crazy, just people charging the field and stuff. Any of the players want to describe that?
Yeah, it was cool. I was on the side of it. I couldn't make it over there in time. I was all went over, but it was cool seeing everybody run out. There was a lot of red. It was a good sight to see.
Yeah, it was great. Coach, you got anything about that? Just the mayhem?
Yeah, honestly, there was a lot of emotion that night. You know, what those young men accomplished that night. Obviously, we didn't know it was going to be the largest comeback in Utah State history for a championship game. We just knew that it was quite the mountain to climb when we looked up at that scoreboard when it was 42-21. And funny enough, the TV caught me and the Jumbotron when I decided to have a little talk with God during that time and looked up at the sky, and I just said, "I'm sorry, what did I do wrong to these young men that I felt like we were prepared?" And these young men just continue to fight and believe. They taught me as a coach a lot of things that night. But when that game ended, just a lot of emotions as far as like just the gratitude that we have for these young men, gratitude we have for this community, for our cheer team, our drill team, our admin, the parents, our coaches. That's all that came to my mind that night. And you know, it's something we talk about in our program a lot is just being grateful and having a lot of gratitude, because we believe that those that are grateful, they show their gratitude back through action. And these young men showed their gratitude back to their parents, to our community, to everyone that showed up and supported them by not giving up. And that's what you do, right? And so I'm super proud of these young men. And again, the theme carries on for us is we're just grateful. You know, we're grateful to represent Region 9. We're grateful to represent Crimson Cliffs, our community. Grateful for these young men and all they do. And we're just great to be a part of a state championship.
And you weren't supposed to do this year.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about that. Last year, you guys were a juggernaut. This year, a lot of people said they'll be good, they'll compete for a region championship, but I don't think a lot of people had you going and winning another one this year.
You know, that's exactly how we'll take it every year, right?
Yeah.
We always want to be in that seat. We're very comfortable in that seat. You talk about two ends of the spectrum. Last year, it's a different type of pressure. There was an expectation, like, if you win, it's you guys screwed up.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
you're supposed to win this deal. It's a big bust.
Yeah.
On this side of the fence, it's this year, on the other end of the spectrum, it was like, hey, like, you're not supposed to be there. And so it's easier to drive that message with these young men. They just respond. Again, we knew what we had. We knew what our potential was. We watched these young men in the off season. We watched them in the weight room. We watched the brotherhood form. So we believed all along. We just knew that it was going to be a process. It's not easy replacing that many starters and backups, right? Because we lost 42 seniors, which a bunch of them were backups as well. And so we knew it was going to be a process. And you know, it's one thing we always talk about and we believe in is our process. And that process starts for us in December, and it goes all the way through that season. And so it was just fun to see what they became.
Yeah.
And it was that's the best part of coaching, is watching that process evolve.
Okay, who wants to say, let's see, Max, you got the microphone. Tell me about your coaches, tell me about the program, finishing up as a champ again at Crimson Cliffs, and what it's like playing for these two guys.
Yeah, there's no other program I'd ever want to be a part of. Red Kingdom is the place I want to be. The community is amazing. The brotherhood's amazing. The culture is amazing. We have the best coaches in the state. They know what they're doing on and off the field. They teach us a lot about life, and they're great football minds. And just so grateful that I was able to be a part of this program, and I'm excited that we were able to take state.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, guys. It was a blast to watch you guys all year long, and amazing what you guys accomplished. History, Crimson Cliffs. That's why we wanted to do this, is because this wasn't just a normal state championship. This was a historic win that these guys did the unthinkable and never kind of gave up and came back and won the championship. So congratulations, guys.
Thanks for having us.
And we'll see you next time on the Region Rush. Okay, stay there, guys, right where you are. I'm going to take a picture of you.